there are women who will sit there and wait, and they will wait for that man to have just a little bit of a weakness, because some women are so empty, they don't mind sharing another woman's man, even if it's just temporary.
Welcome to CenterGround, your home for unfiltered discussion, where we tackle today's most talked about topics, break down current events, and give our take on the internet's latest foolishness. Tune in and let's find some common ground. Let's get this party started.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And if it's your first time, welcome, I guess, to the CenterGround podcast. I am your host, Bootsy. Today we have an interesting video here. I know I always say they're interesting, but it is interesting. This one, it says Ayesha Curry and Ciara creating suckers, just like in Sonya Curry's divorce. And that's an interesting perspective. I've been thinking about this lately, and I'm like, do women love simps? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, who wouldn't love someone who gives you everything that you would ever want when you don't have to do anything to deserve it? Like, that's winning, right? But I do think even with someone giving you everything you want, eventually you'll get tired of it. There's no challenge. It's boring. Imagine every time you wanted something, it was just dropped off to you. I think that's why rich people do some wild, crazy stuff. But I would love to see what this perspective is about, because I have my own theories. I think women love suckers. I think they love creating suckers. They just don't like when it's their son, because they don't like watching someone that they care for get abused. But they don't mind abusing someone else because they think they deserve certain things. So let's get into it, see what this is about.
A sucker will dedicate everything to making
Bacon.
his alleged woman happy. That's the life of a sucker. Going out your way to make some woman happy. Because if your woman is naturally happy, you ain't got to go out your way to try and make her happy.
Yeah, that boy preaching there, boy. Like, I've been trying to tell people this for a very long time, and I discovered this when I was a young man, when I was a teenager. So I've been trying to impart this knowledge on anyone I can. You can't make people happy. Like, you just can't. It don't matter how much money you got. It don't matter how good you look. It don't matter how productive you are. None of these things matter in the grand scheme of things. If someone is unhappy, they're just going to be unhappy. You can shower them with gifts. You can give them the moon, the earth, the stars, and the wind. It does not matter. And unhappy is forever going to be unhappy until they themselves make the choice to be happy. Let's continue. Hey, Corey, always preaching real quick. Hold on.
If you got a woman that's not happy, you are living a living hell,
Hell.
trying to make her life better.
And for those of you who are religious in Christianity, in the Bible specifically, it says it is better to live in the corner of a roof, to live under the same roof of a quarrelsome woman. And the reason why it says that is because if somebody is unhappy and you constantly got them around you, they're going to destroy your life. They are. Whether they do it on purpose or not, whole different story. But if these unhappy people have a poor habit of destroying, and I don't think they do it on purpose. I just think it's just in them because they're miserable and they like to see misery. Mama always used to tell me, boy, be careful who you deal with because misery loves company.
Welcome back to NNN, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. Look,
Eddie Griffin,
Ayesha
boy.
Curry.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be.
Damn it, I was talking on mute. All right, so since we're stuck on Ayesha Curry, I guess I'll just say this, right? I think when I look at what she said and I keep reviewing and I keep listening to it, I don't really see things that she said that's overtly wrong in this interview. I couldn't sit down and watch the whole interview, but from the clips I saw, she didn't really seem like she said anything overtly wrong. She wanted to make money for herself. She wanted to have a job. These things are noble. They're not the worst possible things. I do think there's a hint of jealousy in there, which is probably what's breeding all this issue and discontentment and all this other crap. But I guess that's where the title of this video come in. It's like these women are creating suckers, because that's what a simp is. A simp is just a sucker. Like, we'll be real. Back in the day, they used to call you a sucker, like you real sucker. That's how they used to say it. But men who don't force women to contribute anything or expect anything from their women tend to end up with women who behave in a manner of Aisha Curry or worse, because they don't have any expectation. They don't have any standard, right? It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how productive you are. It's just you kind of breed this type of behavior towards you when you don't have any, backing, when you don't have a spine, when you don't stand up for yourself. And I know that we were taught that we're supposed to keep our women happy. But again, if that woman is already unhappy, there's nothing you can do. I think I told y'all before, I have a friend who's in that same predicament. He's trying his best to keep his wife happy, and nothing he do works. So it's like, at what point do you quit? Right? At what point do you stop trying? Because you can't make people happy. They have to find joy within themselves. They have to be happy for themselves. So, do these women create suckers? I don't know if they create them. I do think that we as a society, we, especially in the past, we kind of push boys to just listening to their women, happy wife, happy life, dumb crap like that. But it's like, how can that woman, you can't make that woman happy. So unless you find you a happy wife, then you kind of doomed for failure. But I'll let this continue.
Be career girl, and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals, and I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life.
Did you talk to Steph about it?
And here's the thing, like 19 is not that early, or however old she was when she got married. It's not that early, right? When you really think about it, you can know what you want at those ages. Do most people know what they want? Probably not, right? Will your life turn out different? Probably so. Like at 19, you might have wanted to be a doctor and then you ended up being a nurse. So you might have wanted to be, a mechanic and you ended up running something else. Things change in life, but you can still know what you want out of life at 19. I don't know why we look at these ages as young. I've even seen like 26-year-olds talk about, I was young. Yeah, 26 ain't young. Like, come on. If you can go to jail, I don't consider you young anymore. I consider you a child in some cases, because some people are 19 and they're essentially babies, like that girl Shannon Sharp was messing with. But it's like, it's not that young where you can't think for yourself.
Tries to resonate with me, but he just can't.
Now, again, that's not completely bad, right? My wife tries to resonate with me, but as a man, there's certain things that I go through that she will never fully understand, period. So that's not a horrible statement. The problem is we, the world, didn't need to know that that's how you felt about your husband, which is what makes it disrespectful. And the fact that he's not saying anything kind of makes him seem even more soft, which is why I'm guessing this video is going to lean in on that aspect of it all. But then it's kind of unproductive as a man to have a wife who behaves like that, to kind of come at her publicly. It's not really going to benefit you, the family, or anything. So I can see why men don't do it. But the problem is most men just don't do it. They don't say anything. And this is why the disrespect tends to continue. And with that being said, I'll continue.
I sincerely doubt that somebody is telling Savannah James she needs to go sit down somewhere. I don't feel like they're saying that to her. I really don't. Everything goes back to, her wanting to be an actress and her.
Before she continues, I think we need to stop using people as examples because we don't know their lives. Like, y'all using Savannah James, like, y'all don't know what that woman does to LeBron when he inside. He could be in a house and she could be dogging him. She just could be quiet in public. So, I mean, we really got to stop glorifying strangers, because that's what these people are. Just because we know them and they're in a public view, that doesn't mean they're anything less than a stranger.
Goals and her visions, and she was supposed to be the breadwinner, and her name is not the moniker, and it was an adjustment for her and everything. And it's like, but what do you want? Because you have like what do you like? You want to be married to this man. There were so many clips of her going onto the court and trying to mark her territory. You don't want him cheating on you. You don't want him sleeping around. But then, at the same token, this is how you're displaying yourself. So what are you telling all these other women who would love to be in your seat? They're gonna try hard. They're like, oh, we can't wait till you slip.
I mean,
Man, that is a good point. And this is why I don't believe in opening the door for your relationship problems, or at least not telling everybody about your problems. And I'll use this as an example, right? Because I believe when you start telling people about the issues in your relationship, some people see that as a invitation to try to creep their way in, right? And I had a girlfriend who constantly would complain and talk. She talked too much, really. And I had to talk with her like, yo, stop telling my business to everybody. Because then these people are so dumb, they would come back and tell me. So now I know you told them because you're the only person I told, right? And I remember once she would tell one of her cousins all of the good stuff and all of the bad stuff that was happening in our relationship. And at the time, it was mainly good. So guess what the cousin did? The cousin tried to get at me. And it's like in a world where most women are dealing with men who are losers, men who don't have anything, men who aren't productive, when you walk around telling the world the issues that you have with your boyfriend or your husband, there are women who will sit there and wait, and they will wait for that man to have just a little bit of a weakness, because some women are so empty, they don't mind sharing another woman's man, even if it's just temporary. So this is some worldly advice, fatherly advice. Like, stop telling y'all business to everybody, because some people who listen aren't your friends. They don't want what's best for you, and they will try to take what's yours if given the opportunity.
How you just gonna disrespect your husband at every turn? Every chance you get a camera in front of you, you never complimentary to the man. You carrying his last name. If you didn't like him that much as you sound like you don't like him, first off, why'd you walk down the aisle and wear his name? And you need to change your name back to your maiden name, because I take my name from you. You can't run around here clowning me every month and like you ain't getting no man's attention, because nobody wants a talkative, disrespectful. So of course ain't no man chasing you. Out here, they seeing what you're doing to your husband.
All I want to say about, hey, women that go on that podcast, well, shouldn't women be allowed to have their space?
Yeah. That pause was crazy. They needed a second to think. But yes, women should have their space to have discussions and talk. Women have always had their space to talk. I don't know why we pretend like women don't dominate talk shows during the daytime, right? Like The View is probably one of the longest standing female run talk shows ever. But when you use your platform to just talk down about or talk bad about your male spouse, your husband, it's going to be viewed poorly. I don't know of any man who goes anywhere and just talks bad about their wife. Most sane people would say, like, you shouldn't do that if you truly love your spouse. So then why is it now okay for a woman to do it because she has her grievances, or she wishes she made more money, or she didn't really want kids but ended up having 4, like she doesn't have autonomy? It's like, yes, you can have a platform to discuss things. But again, when you speak, you have to speak with respect to your spouse. Even the stories that I tell on this platform, they have to have a level of respect for my spouse when I tell them. This is why I would never tell her business or things she wouldn't want other people to know. This is why even I wouldn't tell stories about myself that she might find embarrassing for her. It's like you have to have a level of respect for your spouse when you're doing things, particularly when you're in the public view, and particularly when you're with someone who has that type of celebrity. Most people in the world know her husband, not her husband. So it's like you're literally making a name for yourself. You literally have his name, but you're making a name for yourself by talking bad about him because you know that's what people will listen to.
Yes,
she should.
Before I play the clip, the kitchen. All right, I just want to hear where y'all stand. Shouldn't women have their space where they get to go talk their womanly, girly, women empowerment?
Yeah,
like uninterrupted.
Yeah, we do here.
Yeah,
Everybody deserves a space.
Yes. And you can't control what comes out to the media. And I also think that, you should be able to have your space, but you should also have some reservations if it's going to make your significant other look stupid.
4 kids. Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No, I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And
I'm not gonna lie, like, I was having a conversation about this woman with my wife today, and while we were talking, I was like, yo, she's starting to seem like Tia Mowry to me. I think if we go back and we rewind the tape and you start looking at Tia Mowry, I don't think she just one day just got up and left her husband. I think she probably started off by like writing like crazy tweets and putting weird posts online, like talking down about the guy. and then she left. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if this is a pattern where, because I've seen this, right? When you look at relationships, most people don't just get up and walk out. They start to distance themselves a bit. They start to be a little bit aggressive. And what a lot of people do, particularly a lot of women, no, men do this too, so I can't even put this on the women. But what a lot of weak people do is when they are too scared to be the bad guy, they try to make you be the bad guy by trying to make you not like them anymore. You get what I'm saying? Like, what they'll do is they'll start doing things they know that agitates you and that irks you so that you can get upset and call them out on it. And then when they leave you, they could be like, well, see, you don't treat me the way you used to. Like, a lot of weak people do that because they're too coward to say, I'm not happy, I want out. But instead, what they do is they try to get the other person to break up with them.
I had my eyes set on my goals, and I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like, it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
What she said there, I think, was quite reasonable. They asked her if she saw herself in this place, and she said, no, I had these other plans for myself, who I would be in the world, what I would do.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
then
how
I
would
got
you?
into this relationship so young. She said, you never know where you're going to end up. Basically saying, you make plans, and then life happens, and they go in a different direction. Anticipate. And I think if you ask the average 16-year-old or 18-year-old
I agree.
what they want to do and where they're going to be in 10 years, and then you look at them 10 years later, the gap between what they said they were going to do and what they actually did is huge.
Yeah. The reason that
That's real, right? Because I wanted to be where Steph Curry is. I ain't gonna hold you. He was like my creative player in 2K. I ain't gonna hold you. It's just my player just dunked more and played better defense. But he essentially, I was doing in the video game what Steph Curry is doing in real life. So I want to be where Steph Curry is. Am I where Steph Curry is? Hell no. So I hear what he's saying.
the internet is taking this clip and reacting to it a certain way is because they already have a narrative about Aisha Curry that they've been building based.
Well, they have a narrative because she behaves herself in a certain way. So it's patterns to this, right? If this was her first time saying certain things, people would just be shocked. But they're not shocked because she has a pattern of saying things about her husband, things that we, the world, does not need to know.
Off
Things she said in the past.
Yeah, based off things she said, based off
Yeah,
things
see?
she's done. They immediately went back and found the clip when she went on the show with Tia Mowry.
I think it's time
Oh,
for a
Lord,
drink.
this
What do you
one.
say? Absolutely. Yes, we get to drink. Marcel.
Before this continues, but this is what I was talking about. See, at the time, I believe Tia Mowry was a married woman, and so was Jenny Mao, I think her name is. But you saw the excitement on their face for this highly inappropriate moment. And when I tell you, there's usually signs that the relationship is ending or is going to have issues because people start looking elsewhere early.
And I hope that he's putting everything in his mama's name, because it seems like you gearing up for the motherfucking divorce proceedings.
And it's funny that he says that because that's been working for a lot of celebrities lately, male celebrities. They put stuff in their mama's name to keep themselves from financial liability and from the women from taking all of their things. However, I wouldn't put it in his mother's name. I suspect some of that spirit. Hell, Aisha might have gotten comfortable saying and doing certain things because she watched his mother. And the reason why I say this, and my wife asked me, why do I think that way? Is because if you look at the Red Table Talk, instead of the mother condemning her for wanting male attention, she was like, oh, you're just not looking, as if you looked, you would get it, as opposed to you shouldn't be looking. Because she might have at the time been saying the same things about his dad. There's always patterns there, and that was crazy. So it doesn't surprise me now that her and the dad is now divorced. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest, especially after seeing this.
Looking for that girl, what does it matter?
Something wrong with
You're
me?
not,
like,
you're not looking.
What?
You're not
Like,
looking.
Yeah, you joining the 95% of females that start divorces. Yeah, men, we in it for the long haul, but y'all just jump ship and run, because there's money in it for you. Oh, yeah.
As long as there's a financial incentive to leave a relationship, people are going to leave relationships. It's that simple. You make things too easy for people, they're going to leave. Most people don't like adversity. They don't try hard. They don't put forth an effort. Look at most people you know. Think about how many of them get a little bit of resistance and they just give up. That's most people. Like, come on now. Now imagine if they got paid to give up. You think they wouldn't give up? Come on now.
It's the same when she's taking out the ring on somebody's show. Yeah, check it out. Somebody need a lawyer? Steph Curry.
Now, hear me out, because sometimes we're a bit too harsh when it comes to women. Some women do have senses of humor. I think she was joking. Like, I get it. It was disrespectful. Yes, but I think it was a joke. Some of y'all are kind of going crazy over this. I don't think it was that bad. Some of y'all think it's bad. We all could agree to disagree, whatever. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't tell anybody else to do it. So I get why y'all upset, but I think it was a joke.
Lawyer up! Drake, get your lawyers ready.
Do you think that most women are inherently evil or scammers? Do you think that from what you see?
I do, and I definitely do say that. One of the reasons being a lot of women.
It's true.
Know,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's true. Yeah, no, it's true. A lot of women don't know what they want, and so they get into these situations of what either their friends or their family or society tells them that they're supposed to do, and then they do all the right things to get there. Then when they get there, the real them comes out. Women are hormonal, right? We're completely different than men. But a lot of times, women are so wrapped up in their emotions and their feelings, which feelings are fleeting. And they make these rash decisions, and that's scary because a man who's stable, who's in a situation, can just wake up one day and be like, "Who is this relationship?" So I have to be.
She says emotions are fleeting. I've been saying this for many, many years. I say emotions are fickle. I say feelings are fickle, really. That's what I say. Not emotions are fickle. Feelings are fickle. So someday somebody could love you one day, hate you the next. It really is that simple. It changes like the weather. But I think what she forgot to add was a lot of women are in survival mode. And the dangers of survival mode is you kind of just think that everyone's out to get you. And so what people who are in survival mode tend to do is they tend to try to get those people first. Or they try to take all that they can and store it for the winter like they're a damn squirrel. So it makes sense why some of these women who are in survival mode struggle with relationships, because they're not really in the relationship to be a betterment to someone else, but rather to get what they can to make their lives good.
Be honest with you. I can't lie to you and say, "Oh yeah, girl, she's a girl boss." Like, I've seen so many women like, "Oh, so Aisha is not allowed to have her own identity. She's not allowed to express herself." Of course she is. She's a woman. She has her own autonomy. Of course, your identity is not just being a wife and a mother. But why, in expressing that, do you have to disrespect him, embarrass him, and humiliate him on the forefront? Like.
And that's where I have an issue with her. She seems like she's a good mother. She seems like she's a good wife, but it's just that every time she gets to a public forum, she leverages it to talk bad about her husband, which makes no sense. And I get it. He's who we know. So I kind of understand what she's doing, but it's like, you gotta find another way to get yourself on. And if you can't, then you don't belong there.
Reason
I don't understand that.
It's so disrespectful what she does because she's a 6. Like, he's an NBA superstar, and he's with a 6. But this is why this is what I want to tell you to open your eyes where you might not think of it this way, Reva. It's not all her. Steph Curry comes from a line of suckers.
And that's the crux of this video. But I hate how he said she's a 6, like that qualifies. Like, if she was a 10, her behavior wouldn't be any less disrespectful. Like, personally, I don't believe in 10s. I think 10s are just ideas, someone we can look at. Oh, she's a 10. Like, no, I don't believe that's a real thing. I think the same way I don't believe in like 1s. I don't think people are just that ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, they naturally that ugly that just like, ugh.
His dad was left by Steph Curry's mother. She was with one of his friends.
Steph Curry's parents, Dell and Sonia Curry, are getting divorced, but it has now turned really ugly. They are both accusing the other of having an extramarital affair while they were still together.
My man Dell Curry got.
And the sad truth is they probably were both cheating on each other. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of old men can't help it when young girls give them attention. So some of them lack self-control, and then they do dumb things that destroy their family. But the reason why I think the mother's capable of doing what the father accused her of is because, one, let's start with her response. Instead of looking at her daughter-in-law and saying, well, you shouldn't be looking for other male attention, she instead jumped on the bandwagon and was like, oh, but you're not looking, as if she could get that attention if she wanted to. Right? So that, to me, immediately, I'm like, I don't trust this lady. It's like, that's your son. You shouldn't be defending her carnal desires. You should be looking at her like, listen, son, you might want to get away from her. But if you're of the same mindset, it makes sense that you would just sit back and agree. Right. And also, right, this is the same lady. I think she's currently with that same friend that he accused her of cheating on him with. So, I mean, come on now. Like, if you have a wife and your wife leaves you and then goes to your best friend's house, I mean, if that's not suspect, then you a fool.
Dumped by Sonya Curry, and she ended up leaving his ass for his white best friend, Steven Johnson. Allegedly moved in with him. Booty clapping sounds.
Steph Curry and his father married and now they're paying for it. If you know your woman is a your money is not gonna put her together. Only thing gonna put her together is this mother game I'm giving them. All you who in love with get counseling from me. I can help you prepare for the funky and all that she gonna pull. That's 100.
Okay.
My man put his pitch in for his subscription. Like, listen, subscribe to me and then I'll help you. But no, you shouldn't. I don't necessarily consider them to be what he's calling them, but I would say this, right? If you are a man who knows that the woman that you love has certain proclivities and certain behaviors that lean towards what he's saying, I would say you need to run. You need to get away from that person. First of all, you shouldn't be marrying people you don't know. So if they are this way, you either would have to know that they're that way before you marry them, or you found out after. And if you found out after, that means you really wasn't good at vetting. So like men, women alike need to get better at vetting their spouse. But yeah, if you find out that you're dating someone and this is how they behave, you need to just leave them. It don't matter how much you like them, because long term they create problems. And people with certain mentalities create problems long term.
But Steph Curry's father, same thing happened to him. She was the big buff white boy. How does that make you feel when the same thing happened to your son?
Ladies, gentlemen, and polite savages, we are now about to embark on the journey, sure to end your fitness and modern women alike. Embrace yourself. This one's a doozy.
Well, polite savages, just when I didn't think it was possible. Here we go again. Polite savages, there happens to be two schools of thought. When it comes down to the interpretation of how Ayesha Curry is handling her relationship with Steph Curry, treating him like a gold-digging thought that does not want to be Steph Curry's wife. I mean, we just gotta go ask Rick Ross when the rumors on the Twitter X streets is that Rick Ross kicked his model girlfriend to the curb when she kept curving him every time he tried to go in for a kiss. Dodging his kisses like she was Trinity out of the Matrix, tucking in her lips every time that Rick Ross was trying to cash in on girlfriend benefit. But maybe it's unfair to be treating Ayesha Curry and comparing her to Rick Ross's ex-model girlfriend. Are we making mountains out of molehills? Well, if you just follow body.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare them to be the same, because they're not in the same league, right? One, this woman is actually a wife, that's just a girlfriend. And two, the reasoning behind her behavior and the reasoning behind Steph Curry's wife behavior is not necessarily the same thing. So I don't think that girl likes Rick Ross, like ever liked Rick Ross, but she knew she could use Rick Ross. Because again, these men, celebrity men, tend to be some of the biggest suckers. It's like, if you look a certain way and if you act easy, they want you. And it's like these dudes haven't learned from past men's mistakes. They haven't learned from their own mistakes, because they usually don't just do it with one person. They usually do it with multiple women multiple times and just never learn. And then they keep trying to pass on. They try to keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result, which is literal insanity. So I don't think this is going to be the last woman that makes Rick Ross look like a fool, right? Because honest to God, he seems like the type of guy, like, yeah, he learned how to make money, but he didn't learn how to pick a woman. And if you don't learn some of these more basic steps before becoming successful, it's going to become even more difficult after you're successful, because you may not get access to the good woman. You might just be surrounded by the groupies who are looking to get your money.
Of evidence, I think we can all see the deal. There's also been body language signs showing that she does not want to stick with his commitment and be doing things expected out of a wife of an NBA legend that still got some good playing years left ahead as he goes after the NBA championship.
We got them motherfucking Golden State Warriors in the house tonight. Yeah, we got real legends in the house. My man Steph Curry in the house. Y'all give it up for Steph Curry. Steph, looking like a 10-year-old out there.
And I feel like this was the first clip that made me like side-eye her a bit, because this happened years ago. And I think this happened years ago, if it's the same clip, but I remember when somebody was acknowledging him and she like looked disinterested. And don't get me wrong, like he could have pissed her off before the show. She could have got a bad text, whatever. But it seemed like the person was like acknowledging his success and she didn't look happy. I'm wondering if this is the first clip that made me think that maybe she was jealous of her husband.
If he just throw the ball up. I said, this motherfucker ain't even playing, man.
But just watch Ayesha Curry right next to Steph Curry. Oh, what do you know? You can't. She was sitting down while Mike Epps was introducing the Golden State Warriors, and Steph Curry praising and applauding Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors for their achievements. But as you can tell just by the look of her legs and how it's bent Ayesha Curry, she still got her butt glued in a seat while everyone else is standing up.
At the end of the day,
my man said how her leg is bent. No, but I do say, like, that they're acknowledging your husband. You should have been the first one up. Come on now. Like, you would expect your husband to do the same for you. But you see, like, that's what I was saying. Some people got issues, man.
She thinks she's up here and she thinks he's down here. It is not going to change. She does not view Steph Curry as the NBA All-Star world champion basketball player. She views Steph Curry as this guy that her mom and dad, her parents told her, you need to marry and secure the bag. She
still views him as the guy who was going to be the high school basketball coach as she ran up the bag in either corporate or in the entertainment
and she admitted it.
And now that it is the opposite, it eats at her.
This is going to nag at her, nag at them until she ends up.
And I think I said this in another one of my videos. I swear, like, it seems like, and it's funny, in the last clip, they had Tia Mowry, Jenny Mai, and then her in the same video. And I'm starting to believe that people start to exhibit, I know when it comes to like cowardly and weak-minded people, instead of saying, I'm no longer happy, it's time for me to go, they start to like detach themselves. Right? They start to do negative things. They start to say crazy stuff almost to get you to get mad at them so that they have a way out. And I'm starting to believe that like some of the behavior is just eventually it's going to result in what Mr. Samuels mentioned, right? She's going to try to cut and run. And I think that's why on the internet, everybody's starting to say like, yeah, you need to put all your money in your mama's name. But again, I don't think he should do that because his mama seems just as bad, right? So he got to do something.
When you marry a woman who thinks she's better than you, when you're with somebody who is ultimately going to be jealous of you, who can't play their role, does not like the spotlight being on you, you're signing up for a life of misery. There's going to be this passive-aggressive, low-level contempt for you because at the end of the day, you're really not what she wanted. You're not what she wanted to do. She wanted something else, and she's living a life that somebody else planned for her. And even though it's probably the best thing for her, she thinks she can do better.
Now, polite savages, lady polite savages, I don't know. But what I do know, if my woman's in attendance of a main event that's supposed to be celebrating me, or at least someone taking their time to take a segment to be celebrating and applauding the achievements of my team, then I'd be expecting her to be standing up right next to me and showing solidarity. So ladies and gentlemen, what would the interpretations have been if the roles were reversed?
Forget if the roles were reversed, because sometimes I do believe we do that a little bit too much. It's like, let's stick to what she did. And imagine if you as a husband, you accomplished all of these things. You did some great, wonderful things that people have never done before. And someone's celebrating you and you look over and the world is celebrating you, but your wife, the one you care about, is not. It's like, good Lord. And I agree with what Corey Holcomb said about, the father and Steph. And sometimes we get what we allow. And a lot of men, they try to make women happy when the women themselves aren't happy. So that's pretty foolish in and of itself, because you can't make people happy. But honest to God, at some point, you got to look at your decisions and say, yo, I got to do better. Because there's no way in hell, I don't see why anyone with common sense and knowledge would choose someone who just doesn't have that level of love for them. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we could be over analyzing this thing. We really could. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not like it's a one-time thing. It's like, okay, so not only do you not celebrate the guy, sometimes you look upset when people are celebrating him. then you admit that you thought he was just going to be a gym teacher and you thought you were going to be doing better. But then you got to tell us his personal business, like, which to me, I consider that disrespectful just because I'm a private person. So it's like, it's hard to defend her. At the same time, I can't condemn her because I don't know them or their relationship. But I will say this, like, if that was me, I would not be very happy. So I'm going to assume that even if he pretends that he's happy, he's not completely happy with her behavior.
If we were to role reversal, if Steph Curry went on podcasts and said he never wanted a wife, he never wanted the kids, he wasn't attracted to her, and all of these things, it would be all over everywhere. People would not want to work with him. He'd lose endorsements.
They would crucify
be feminists
him.
coming out everywhere. Like, people would be so anti that. They would be like, how dare you? And she gave you these children and she's doing these things. But when a woman does it, women are like, and so what? She just expressing herself. It's just not. You have a certain level of respect, camaraderie with one another. You can't do that.
Do you know what Steph Curry's mother did?
Yeah, not exact average brings.
This is a bust down. I know what his mama did to his daddy.
And then it kind of divided the Curry family. From what I understand, Aisha and Steph Curry took the mother's side, and I think the rest of the kids, there's 3 of them, were divided on who else was right. But you heard all these allegations, like, like Dale Curry was cheating on her with all of these IG Tatianas. And then you held Dale saying, no, she been cheating on me the whole time with my white best friend I went to college with.
They did what? When? How? Are you sure?
One thing I know is that the mama was there at the Red Table Talk, and she was not feeling what Aisha was saying about the male attention.
Like, I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to internalize it, and I'm like, is something wrong with
See, I have a different perspective because the way I see it is she said, you don't even realize it. That doesn't sound like she's objecting. It doesn't sound like she was upset that this girl is saying it. She's just saying you don't realize the attention that you get. Not that you shouldn't be looking for it, which is what I stated earlier. You don't even realize it. And she got all excited about it.
You're not looking.
What,
You're not even.
It's actually wild. He just wants her to be happy. Meanwhile, she goes up to these places and treats them like therapy as opposed to a way to try to build on their brand, to make it appear stronger than what it actually is.
It's one thing if she does whatever she's done. I don't know what she's done, but her son.
Well, that's what they do. A lot of times they want the world to go in this way where men are looked at negatively, but for their sons, sometimes they feel like, give him a pass, though.
That's true.
Yeah, right.
It's a wicked cycle.
Like, I've seen racist people who have, like, let's say racist white person. I've seen a racist white person with a black grandchild, and they try to make the grandchild seem like the grandchild's not black. And it's crazy because they themselves may have prejudice towards black people, but when it comes to their grandchild, no, that's one of the good ones. And it's like, that's why that terminology was always deemed bad, because people really believe that because they like somebody, that person is somehow different from the collective, which is crazy how some mothers hate men but love their son, or claim they love their son.
Go River.
I think Aisha Curry is who y'all try to paint Sierra to be. Say more. Yeah. People constantly say Sierra's with Russell because this is not the dude she wants. She just settled for him. She wants
you cooking ice.
The bad boy and all this other. And she seems to really be happy and really be this person with a cookbook, though.
I think it's both. And like, I think these people, they're not happy with themselves, so they're never going to be happy with you. And then we're taught to just make people happy, which when you get older and mature, you learn you can't do that, no matter how hard you try.
All of that I say about Sierra applies to Aisha Curry.
Cooking with a cookbook. It seems like there could be a prediction on the horizon where history is doomed to repeat itself, just like with Steph Curry's dad, Del Curry, eventually getting divorced from his mom, Sonia Curry. We already know what kind of messy situation that was. Signs and signals were there if anyone were to care to notice. It just seems like things aren't adding up, especially with Aisha Curry having many chances to expanding her brand and building a name for herself. She could have kept on pursuing cooking shows and became a model, getting booked for different commercials, and playing into the model role. From the men watching from the outside and looking in, the move she could really be making, instead of appearing on all of these different podcasts and sticking to different topics. She could have kept the focus on something else, instead of constantly bringing it back to the dreams of her youthful past. Every time she complains about the regrets that she never made, and the mistakes she never was able to commit in her youth, are the unforced errors she's making today to be the subject of critique and ridicule, where another one-star athlete and Russell Wilson, facing the same damn thing and potentially the same future. No pun intended.
What you want to ask? People say Russell Wilson is corny. What's your honest reaction?
Oh my gosh. Why would I even respond to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I know, and that's all that matters. But he is the most amazing.
Him being an amazing human being doesn't make him any less corny, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do they not understand what the definition of corny is? Like, he is picture perfect definition of corny, especially in Black culture. That's not necessarily a bad thing, though. Like, people forget, you telling dad jokes or even you laughing at dad jokes can make you corny, right? Some people might say that I'm corny. I don't see that as an overt negative thing. But she didn't answer the question.
Human being you could know. The smartest, most intelligent Black man that I have ever known.
And we've had conversations up here as men saying, like, I don't understand why he gets called a simp.
Wait. Who's the man saying it?
And it's not just men saying it. You see how they try to make it seem like it's a insecure male thing? It's not. Like, him being a simp is just him doing for her things that she would never do for him. And I think the technical definition is just you putting in more than you're getting out kind of thing, right? Don't get me wrong. You're never going to get the exact same thing back out. But if you're doing a lot for somebody and they do nothing or the bare minimum for you, then yes, that makes you a simp as a man. Can you simp for your wife? Yes. Is it always a bad thing? No. Like, when dudes do it for like strippers and thoughts and all this other crap, that's foolish. But if you're doing a lot for your wife and you don't need her to do much for you, then it's not that big of a deal. But to say that he's not a simp because you don't like the word, or to say he's not corny because he's a good man or because he's a smart man, like, that's not really what those words mean. So you're just deflecting at that point.
No, we ain't gonna call no names.
And I do find it funny how she didn't want to speak on the people who knew him as his teammates who called him corny. And I find that stuff hilarious, because the reason why some of these people call him corny is because they said as a teammate, he was a terrible human being. So even if he's nice to her, like, how you mean to your teammates when you need your team to succeed? You get what I'm saying? And it's like people called him corny. His teammates called him corny because they said stuff like they couldn't even get his phone number. Like, if he needed something, he would call them private because he didn't want his own teammates having his phone number. Like, the man can't afford 2 lines. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. So when people talk about this corny stuff, I mean, that's a whole different topic. But it's like, yeah, she didn't answer the question and she didn't prove that he's not corny. In fact, I would argue that her not answering the question kind of made him look a bit more corny.
And he is still, in my opinion, very desperate to keep her where she is. And he figures plugging her with babies will keep starting that clock up again. And I think it's going to last so long as he's viable in the NFL, because she wants to know what her next 30 years will be.
I walked in the room
And again, like, this is what I was talking about with the survival mode, because some women are in survival mode. So as long as you can make them feel like they're going to be able to easily survive, then they're going to stick it out with you. Some women don't want to struggle with you. Some women do not want to build with you. This is why most women nowadays are single and will be single for the remainder of time, because they're entitled and they think that they deserve greatness, even though they never worked for it. Why? Because they see other people who they glorify and idolize getting this level of grandiose lifestyle that they never truly worked for, right? I was explaining this to my wife in terms of this relationship between Russell and Ciara, and I said, like, most people can name what this man has done for this woman that he did not have to do, but he took the time out to do it for her, or things he's done for her that benefited just her, right? How many things can you really name that Ciara has done for Russell? And most people couldn't name it. And I think even that, like, let's say she did accomplish things that we just don't know about, which is most likely true. But the fact that no one can name those things, that's why they call him a simp. And that's a justifiable reason to consider this man a simp. Not because he's a father, not because he took on someone else's child. That's usually not what it is.
I saw, a little feature, he's 9 months at the time or whatever, and he crawls in my lap, and it was like, this is gonna be my responsibility. And realizing that, I pray to God, you sure this is what you want me to do? Say, son, this is for you.
The first night?
Yeah, the first night. Mm-hmm.
And I call BS. And as someone who studies theology, God doesn't do stuff like that for the most part. God will not give you someone else's responsibility just because it's like, why wouldn't he just give you a child of your own? So when I hear stories like this, people love to use God to justify their decision making. That wasn't God. That was all you. You wanted that woman and you wanted that kid in your life for whatever reason. That's why you did it. Is it noble? In my mind, yes, absolutely. I think so many kids are in need of good parents. But to say that it was God, it's like, come on now. It's like when people do dumb stuff and they're like, well, God wanted me to. Like, I've seen people cheat and they say, well, God gave me the opportunity. It's like, man, come on.
It's gonna be your responsibility. I know she's the one for me, but also too, I'm gonna take this responsibility as well. Like, okay, like, and I was ready for that. I was ready for that.
Her offspring will hate you.
And just to throw this out there from a theological standpoint, it's like, why would God grant you a child from a union that he did not ordain? So God don't want us sleeping and having kids out of wedlock, but you're saying that God wanted you, a quote unquote Christian man, to take on the responsibilities that you had no say in creating. Those don't even connect, not even from a theological standpoint. It don't even connect from a normal standpoint, a common sense standpoint, right? So that's, again, why I'm like, yeah, that ain't God. But I know what Corey is about to say, because I've heard this clip before, I believe, where he's going to talk about how you raise another man's child. That child might grow up to hate you. That woman might grow to resent you and leave you. And then when she leaves, so will that child. But let's see.
You'll be like, that's my son too. Okay. Okay. If the woman ain't got it in her to be joyous, they're going to blame you for what they do wrong. If the woman ain't got it in her to be stand up, when she don't do stand up stuff, she's going to say, well, I did that because of what you did.
And she's going to have some hard.
And that's that child's mentality. I agree with him there. When people aren't mentally mature, they do that. They do bad things to you and then blame you and say it's your fault. It's like, why y'all with these type of people? I don't get it, but we got to learn eventually.
Questions to ask yourself here very shortly. Because for her, it's about image and about look. And when you lose your image, because that's what she wants too. What do you do when you go online and now you're a laughing stock? What do you do when she goes on her Instagram and put up pictures of you and they just talk about how you blew the game? Now what? And is she going to be okay with that 3 or 4 years from now when it keeps going? Is she going to be okay getting laughed at?
With the ongoing saga and the dilemma, when Sierra will finally decide to make her move and then announce on Instagram and Twitter that she's out here now trying to find her truth, announcing she's getting back on the dating market and back into the hip-hop scene so she can find herself one more bad boy guy, an up-and-coming dude that's willing to blow out her back.
I'm predicting she...
And I'm pretty sure my prediction is the same as theirs, right? Because I've said this for a few years now. When you're a woman who has a baby by someone like Future and you realize he's not going to help you take care of that child, yeah, you kind of look for some help, right? And I once had a prediction that once his football career is over, she'll probably leave, because right now, since he's in like the superstar light, it benefits her, right? She's a celebrity who no one cares about what she's known for anymore. Like, she was in the music industry, but no one cares about the new Sierra song. She has come out with a few, twerking on cars and stuff like that. Nobody cares about that type of music. Or her talking about the single ladies, do it for yourself, but you got a whole husband. Like, it's like, come on now, right? But I'll add this to my other prediction. If she doesn't leave at the end of his career, she'll more than likely leave when the kids are outside of a certain age. Or maybe even before, because some women are so hyper focused on child support. We just don't know. And he is a celebrity, so that's more money.
She's going to go back out there and go try to find one more ride. But she has to do that while she's still got some ability to do it. Now, how easy that'll be when you got 4 or 5 kids hanging off of you. Because there's what Russell's doing. Russell's really trying to bog you down under a bunch of kids. You thought Future was bad. Do you see what Russell's been doing? Mm-hmm. So now he's got you buried up under 4 or 5 kids.
Well, he's not doing anything wrong. If the man loves the woman, like truly loves the woman, and he wants to build a family with her, it makes sense that he's going to have children. You have to remember, in Christianity, the Bible does say be fruitful and multiply. So I don't think he's wrong for that. I do, however, believe that those children can be used as weapons if you're not careful and if you do the wrong things with the wrong people. So, There you have it.
You better mean all that sucker ass stuff you talking about with him.
But I do see him. They made the point that like, what can she find another man with 4 or 5 kids hanging off her? I think so, because he's the type that would go take care of the kids. So it could still be beneficial for her.
Because he's got you buried up under a bunch of kids.
And now here is Steph Curry with not 1, not 2. He kept putting babies in something that he knew was broken. So when people say, Steph Curry ain't got no dirt on his name, yes, he do. The dirt on your name is your wife, because your wife is walking around all over you. So you can act like you're innocent if you just got in this. Is he got 4 babies with her?
I think 4 now.
He's 4 babies in with a girl who has real issues toward him. Because you don't talk about your people like that, especially your husband.
That's all I got for you polite savages. Like and subscribe. Hit us up on all social media networks.
All right, yeah, I'll close it here. Like I talk smack about my wife all the time to my friends, but it's usually a joke. Like it's a funny like talking smack about, not an insult talking smack about. So like I would never get on TV unless I was on TV to be funny, like a comedian or something. I wouldn't do that unless I got her permission for it first, right? Like, so I don't get why so many women do that. Like I've had this issue with both her and Michelle Obama, where they get in a public forum, specifically podcasts, and they instantly talk something negative about their husband that the world does not know and does not need to know. And it's ironic that both of them were the shining light before the man got famous and popular. So is there a correlation, commonality there? Possibly. But we may never know at the end of the day. So my advice to young men is you got to be very careful with the vetting process. You should be taking your time, especially the younger you are. You should take more time before you put a baby in someone or before you marry someone, because yeah, there are wolves in sheep clothing, and some of them come off as nice, but secretly they do hate you. It's not a positive thing. It's not a great thing, but it happens. So you got to be extra careful before you have children with these people, before you get married. The same thing goes for women, right? Because some of these people don't like y'all. They use you. So you got to be very careful. This is why I tell people you should at minimum be in a relationship for 2.5 years before you even consider marriage, because psychologically they say most people can't hide their true self after 2.5 years. That's why when you start to hear some of the advice coming out that people should be moving faster, that's risky business, and I don't think you should do it. But I hope you got something out of this video. I will holler at y'all soon. Thanks for listening to the CenterGround podcast. We'll be back soon with some more great content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. We are a new channel, and growth is essentially our main objective. So send us an email at centerground.pod@gmail.com with any ideas or clips you would like for us to review. This was definitely fun, and I'd say let's do it again. But before you go, always remember, greatness lives somewhere within you. Just make sure you're taking the time to find the key to unlock that greatness. Until we meet again, I'll see you soon.